Hello everybody. The charity of the month this month is the World Wildlife Fund. They do great work protecting wildlife habitats, endangered species and the environment. Rather than just donating money this month, I decided to purchase one of the shirts they sell on their online store. Let me know if you decide to support the World Wildlife Fund with me and who we should support next month. This happened probably 15 years ago now, and I still have absolutely no explanation as to why it happened. So, I live in a really big city, and I'm an extrovert, which is perfect for me. I love going out and mingling with people. Despite living in a big city, it really has a nice community feel where I live, and this is what I've always craved my entire life. I work from home, so I get a little bit lonely, so being an extrovert, I go outside and mingle with people all around. I do this every day, and it's one of those things where everyone knows me and I know them. So, why what happened only happened to me? I don't know. So, one day, I just come back in after going out for a short break and chatting with some of the locals around the neighbourhood, and I sit down in my chair to finish the rest of my work. It's the time of day where it's dark, but not really dark. It's that level of brightness where if you're going to read a book, you need to turn a light switch on. All of a sudden, I can see this light flashing through my window against my wall. It's flashing through in a really rhythmic pattern, and I can't really figure out what it means or what is happening. I thought maybe there was some sort of police car outside, but I look outside and I don't see any police cars. Now there's a row of bushes about 20 foot away from where I live, and from inside those bushes I could see someone vaguely in the distance flashing a torch through my window in a rhythmic pattern. I don't know what it meant or why they were doing it. Maybe it was Morse code, I don't know. I bang on the window and then I run outside and go shout at them and ask them what they're doing. But by this point they were gone. It kind of confused me. Why was someone flashing a light through my window in a slow, controlled manner? Did it mean anything? Were they trying to get a message to me? I don't know. My brain was running wild and I was completely confused. Anyway, nothing happens for around 3 weeks. One day, when I'm doing my work again from home, I hear some posts come through the post box. Obviously, this isn't uncommon, but when I go to get up and see what was there, nothing's been delivered. I was certain I could hear someone putting something through my post box, as if they were fiddling around trying to push something through. But when I get there, nothing's there. I open my door and look around and nothing. No one. No sight of anyone. This is where I'm starting to get creeped out. Is someone playing a game with me? Why have I had 2 weird experiences in the space of 3 weeks? I go and speak to my neighbours about it and they say that they'll keep a lookout, but they've had nothing happen to them. This is where I'm getting a little bit concerned. I make sure that I keep all my doors locked at night, and I actually put a baseball bat under my bed just in case anything happens. Now, call me paranoid, but why is this happening to me and nobody else? What do they want from me? Is it someone playing a prank on me? Have I got a stalker? What's going on? Anyway, another 3 or 4 weeks passes, and I can hear the postbox rattling again. I walk up and I can see someone putting their hand through the postbox, but nothing coming through. I quickly run up to the door again, open it, and what I see this time is someone running down the road away from the house. This is when I realise that something's definitely off. I call the police and tell them what happened, but there's nothing they can really do about it. There's no cameras nearby, so they tell me that if anything happens again to give them a call back. This irritates me, but I decide that the best thing to do is to make sure my house is as safe as possible and to let my neighbours know again what's been happening. Again, the neighbours say that nothing's happened with them, but they're going to keep an eye out and look out for anyone who seems suspicious near my house. Another 2 or 3 weeks pass, and at this point I can hear something coming through my post box. This time I'm ready. I run up to the door, but as I do, I realise that a letter has just come through the post box. So I decide not to swing the door open and startle the postman. I pick up the letter and open it, and that's when I realise it's not a normal letter. It's on a A4 sheet of paper, and all that's written in large letters is "Hi" and a smiley face underneath. And that's when I realised that someone is definitely playing a game with me. At this point, I'm ready for this person. I want to find out who it is, so I stay up all night. Because I work from home, I can do my work whenever I want to. I decide that I'm going to stay vigilant and put my work desk right next to my window. However, when I do this, nothing seems to happen for a good 3 or 4 months. I decide that maybe the person just gave up and they were playing a prank on me. In the end, I give up and put my table and desk back to where it was before. I assume that the person was giving up playing pranks on me and that they got bored or something. So everything's normal for the next 2 years. That's when all of a sudden I get a letter come through my postbox that says, "You're in danger," in the same handwriting as before. This is when I realised that things are going to start happening again. To be honest with you, I'd saved up enough money at this point to where I could just move out. And that's what I decided to do. I put my house up on the market and I move out. This is around, like I say, 15-20 years ago now. I moved away and nothing ever has happened since. I hope this person hasn't tracked me and found out where I live now, but it's been 20 years, so I'm assuming that everything's fine. I don't know what happened to the house after I left. I was so scared. I did tell the police again, but again, there's nothing they could do. As far as I know, nothing's happened with the neighbours in that area. I keep in contact with a few of them and sometimes we talk about it, but nothing's happened since. So whether I had a stalker or what, I don't know. I don't know what this person wanted. I don't know if they were going to try and rob me, if they just wanted to mess with me. But why put a letter through my postbox that says "You're in danger" 2 years after the initial letter? I don't get it. I don't get people in general, and I don't know what this person wanted with me. But I'm happy to say that I'm safe and happy where I live now, and nothing's ever happened to me since. And hopefully, this person has no clue where I am. I live in an area in England that is particularly beautiful. There's green and pleasant lands all around, and lots of country parks, which I'll get to in a moment. Me and my wife are getting to, but we're not at retirement age just yet. My knees are pretty busted up from lots of hard work throughout my working life and years of sports before that, so I can't really go on the paths that I want to go on. There's a local village and a school, and my family are nearby, so we're pretty well situated. Anyway, almost every day, me and my wife try and get up and walk our dogs around these country parks. Now there's one of them which is my favourite, but I can't really use. There's lots of hills and lots of areas that are a little bit slippery for me. I really want to be able to ride a bike up and down these hills, but I just can't manage it at the moment. So we normally avoid that one. There's another one that has a beautiful lake that runs alongside the path, which is better in the summer. And there's another one that's most nearby that is pretty flat, and it's almost like a gravel path that runs for a few miles and leads back to a general car park. So that's the one we normally take. Normally, I get the dogs in the car. We have 2 dogs, one called Stacy and one called Happy. I know Happy's a funny name, but our granddaughter named it. Anyway, so we take the dogs, we get them in the car, and we walk along these trails. Normally, everything's fine, but this one time, our dog Happy was acting a little bit strange. She was acting as though she was getting spooked by things, which she doesn't normally. So we kept walking and just found it a little bit odd. That's when we noticed a group of young guys walking behind us, all with their hoods up. Now, I'm not particularly worried about this. They appear just to be walking around, and who knows, they could just be a group of friends that are walking around the path too and enjoying the day. But after another half an hour of walking around, I start getting suspicious. Every single turn we make, they make too. There's various different routes you can take along this path, and they all lead back to the same place, but take various different routes to get there. The chance of someone following you on this route is pretty slim, but they follow us through every single narrow winding path, and at one point they start to get a little bit closer. Now, I'm getting kind of freaked out, and the dogs are spooked out too. My wife says sometimes dogs have a kind of sixth sense, and they can tell when something's not right. maybe this is the case because I turn around and I say to my wife I'm going to go speak to the guys. As I start walking towards them, they disperse and walk away into the wooded areas. Now, with my knees being bad, I can't be walking over all the broken logs and slippery leaves that are on the floor, so I just throw my hands up in the air and walk back. I say to my wife that we should head back to the car, and we decide to do that. So we slowly put the dogs on their leads and walk back to the car. As we're maybe 200 meters from the car park, these guys appear even closer to us this time. That's when they realize that we're probably going back to our car, and they start walking even faster towards us. They're probably only 20 feet behind us still, but they're really making ground on us, and with my knees aching, I can't walk much faster. I tell my wife to take the dogs and get in the car, to which she does. She jogs towards the car and puts the dogs in, but as soon as they see her jog, they start light jogging too. This is when I get really freaked out. I'm not sure whether I should turn around and confront these guys or head back to the car. I decide the best thing to do is keep walking at a normal pace, which I do. I get back to my car and my wife has put the dogs in and is sitting in the driver's seat of the car. As I'm about to open my door, the guy starts to sprint towards my car. That's when I get in my car quickly, shut and lock the doors and tell my wife to drive. We speed off in a hurry and out the gate just as the guys reach our car. I look back in the mirror and I can see the guys shouting at each other and pointing at each other, clearly annoyed that we'd got away. I don't really know what these guys wanted with us, and I don't know what their plans were, but I'm glad that me and my wife got away. Now, this experience isn't going to deter us from going back to these country parks again, but we're definitely going to have to stay more vigilant. This happened to me probably 8 years ago now, and I'm 20 years old now. I live in a small town. It's not necessarily in the middle of nowhere, but it's fairly remote. I'm outside of a big city, so people still pass through. I've worked the same dead-end job that I've been in since I was 16 or 17 years old. Most of my friends have moved out of town now, so I'm a bit of a loner. We still keep in touch, but it's not the same when you can't see people in person. The shop that I work in is really close to this huge shopping mall. The shopping mall is inside of a quarry looking thing. If you've seen one before, you know what I'm talking about. It's almost like there's massive steep hills all around and there's a shopping mall in the middle of it. It's kind of confusing to describe, but if you've seen one, you'll know. So, I work in a shop that's probably only a 15-minute walk from this shopping mall. Every single day after work, I get off probably around 5 o'clock, sometimes 7 depending on when I start, and I just go for a mooch around the shopping mall. I find there's something so relaxing about just putting your headphones in and going and buying a drink or something to eat and just looking around at clothes that you can't afford or things that you want to buy in the future. Just having a casual stroll by yourself, minding your own business and enjoying your own company. It's something that I've done since I worked in this job, and to be honest, it never gets old for me. My job can be fairly stressful sometimes. It's not necessarily the people that work there. I actually get on quite well with a lot of them, but they're not really my friends. It's the customers that are really causing me problems. They're just so rude to me sometimes, and it really gets me down. So this one day, I especially wanted just to get out, put my headphones on, and just go about my routine, and just try and decompress a little bit. Well, anyway, one day, I was walking out of work, and typically, you have to turn right and walk around these winding paths that lead to the shopping mall. It probably takes around 15 minutes, and it's on a gradual decline all the way down to the shopping mall. That's where the bus stops are too to get out. It's probably a 15-minute drive to get back to my house, and on the bus it probably takes 25 minutes. It's not too far away, and the buses run until about midnight, so I haven't got too much problem with getting home. However, I know of this other way to get down to the shopping mall. Now, this is a particularly lazy way to go about it, but it's something that me and my buddies discovered way back in the day. It probably cuts 10 minutes off the route. If you cross over the road, there's a line of shrubbery and bushes that winds all the way down the path. Now you would think that behind these bushes is just a gate or something to stop people from falling down the hill, but no, if you push past all these bushes, there's actually a little level of a dirt road that winds all the way down. Now I say a road, it's kind of more of a muddy track that has loads of empty cans and pieces of burnt wood and rocks and stones all around. Probably only around 6 foot in length, and then it drops down into the area that leads to the shopping mall. It's a fairly steep drop, but as long as you're careful, you can sort of scoot your way down it and get to the shops so much quicker. Now, this is something we discovered way back when we were young, and it's one of those things that kids seem to know about, but adults haven't got a clue. It's one of those ones. So I decided that this is the route I'm going to take. Now, like I say, I finish work at either 5 or 7, and on this day, it was 7 o'clock, and it was dark outside. Probably not the best time to be doing this, but I've never had any problems before, so why not? So I sort of barged my way through these bushes, scraping myself a little bit, but I'm fine. That's when I get onto the little path. Now, normally no one's there, but as soon as I jump down, 4 or 5 people turn around and look at me. They've all got their hoods up and things covering their faces, so I can't see who they are. I'm a little bit of a nervous person in general, so this shocks me and I don't know what to say. I go to turn around and go back up the path, but one of them grabs me and tells me not to go. This is the point where I'm really scared. They tell me to empty my pockets, to which I do. They take my phone off me and my wallet, and to be honest, I'm pretty shaken at this point. I don't know what to do. And that's when someone else says, "Take his watch too." Now this watch is massively sentimental to me. It's something that was given to me by my father before he passed away. So to me, this is not something I really want to give up. I started pleading with them not to take it, at which point I can see one of them reach into their pocket and another 2 reach into their coats. They start shouting things at me, but I think I'm having an anxiety attack because the words aren't making sense to me. I'm just slowly trying to backtrack whilst they're hurling abuse at me and shouting instructions to me, but I'm frozen. I don't know what to do and I'm so scared. This is when fight or flight kicks in. It's either try and take on all these guys or jump down this steep hill that leads to the shops. Without even thinking, I run and I jump down this hill that leads to the shops. I start rolling and tumbling and barrel rolling down this hill. I make it to the bottom, but I'm badly hurt. My leg felt broken and I couldn't move my ankle. I had a cut on the top of my head too that was bleeding quite a lot. Thankfully someone saw me jump down and they came to help me quickly. I got taken into a little medical room that was in the back of one of the shops. They called the police for me, but there was nothing the police could do. I didn't see any of their faces and they'd run away with my stuff by now. I still had my watch on me, although the face of the watch did crack a little bit as I jumped and barrel rolled down the hill. Thankfully I made it out safely, and to be honest with you, I'm scared to ever go back to that spot. I'll never be taking that shortcut again. I'm happy that I didn't end up getting harmed, and maybe I should just give my watch up, but it had so much sentimental value to me, and combined with the anxiety attack and the general just surprise of what happened, I didn't know what to do in that situation. I'm not saying I made the right choice, but luckily I made it out okay. Hello everyone, this is the part of the video where there's no more stories, so if you're only here for the stories, then there's plenty more on my channel and plenty of other channels out there that narrate stories much better than what I do. At the moment, there is quite a lot of wind going on where I'm sitting, so maybe you can hear a little bit of that in the background, but currently I'm sitting just next to my window and it's very breezy and it's quite early in the morning, so the sun's just coming up. I enjoy this bit of my video. It's always my favourite part, to be honest. Just talking and having a conversation about anything with you guys. What have you all been up to anyway? Let me know in the comments. Have you got any plans? Anything you've done that's interesting? Anything you just want to talk about in general? Let me know, because I'm happy to have a chat in the comments. Currently, it's Saturday morning. I've actually already pre-recorded this part of the video beforehand, but I basically wasn't very happy with how the talk at the end came out, and it's not like I actually talk about anything interesting at the end of these videos anyway. I normally just ramble on, so that shows how bad it was. But yeah, so I've got my tea with me. Have a sip of that. Do you know what is nice? Yorkshire tea. Yorkshire tea is really, really good. It's probably my favourite tea. I really enjoy the I used to enjoy PG Tips and Twining's English Breakfast, I think it is, but I don't like Lipton very much. I don't like what's it called, Tetley, very much either. So if any of you are considering trying a new tea, I'd probably recommend Yorkshire tea if you haven't tried that already. And when I'm saying tea, I'm talking about like hot tea. I'm not talking about the tea that's got like, I don't know, iced tea, whatever it's called. I don't like that. Talking about tea with milk and sugar. But yeah. Anyway, what was I going to talk about? I've actually started making a video on it's called the Uncanny Valley Theory, and if you haven't heard of it, it's actually quite interesting. It's it's the notion that likability of an object or an animatronic or CGI or whatever will go up. So the rating of likability goes up depending on whether it looks more human-like, but it will get to a point where it's so human-like but still there's a fundamental difference, and then the likability suddenly just drops massively, and it creates a sort of sense of uneasiness or sort of distaste in humans. And there's been a couple of films where people have said that they get these feelings when they watch it, and there's certain objects where you know, if you see like a doll in person, like a realistic human-like doll, but you know it's not real. It's one of those where it just makes you feel a little bit uncomfortable, and that's the whole theory behind it. And in this video I'm going to be looking at different studies and stuff that have been done and the evidence that's been found. So yeah, I think that'd be quite a decent video if I can do it right. But yeah, I've already written everything I want to do for it, but I still need to record it, and sometimes when I'm recording I sort of mess up all the time, so I have to keep going back and forth over and over again, cutting bits out and putting bits in. That's why I like this bit here, because I can just talk about whatever I want, and it will just, I don't care if I make a mistake, and it doesn't really make a difference what people think of it. It's just, you hear if you want to listen to it. Whereas the actual main part of the video, I think it's probably better to make sure it's all as good as it can be. You know what, I was having to think about what we spoke about last week, and I think charity of the month for me is something that I definitely want to do a different one every single month, because I had a thought for a while about doing it. Actually, was this last week I spoke about it? Maybe it wasn't. I definitely spoke about it a while ago, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to do one continuous charity for a long period of time, or lots of different ones, and find different ways to help the charities. So I know it's not much of a different way to help the charities, but this time I donated to the WWF, and I bought one of the shirts on there. So I think it cost about £20, maybe something like £25 in total, and the money goes towards obviously the shirt you're buying, and then the rest of it and whatever else will go to the charities. So I thought it was quite a nice way to support them as well, rather than just do the donation. And if you want to see the shirt, let me know in the comments, because I can post it on my community tab. I bought the I posted it on my community tab, so have a look on there if you want to see it. I when I mentioned it before, I think I put on my community tab what shirt specifically I got. But yeah, I don't know if I said as well, I finished watching Stranger Things, and I really enjoyed Stranger Things. Thought it was really good. I thought season 1 was still the best season though. Season 2 and 3 I didn't like season 2 as much. Season 3 and 4 were good though. So it's definitely one of my favourite series. I think my favourite though is Breaking Bad. Always has been. Sorry, just drinking my tea. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. But I think it's like another year or two apparently until the new season comes out. The last season, season 5. So I'll see what it's like. But I have to rewatch some of it probably because I'll just forget. What was I gonna say? I keep forgetting what I'm gonna say. I need to write things down like a topic. I was gonna ask you guys as well if you thought I should maybe have someone else on here to do this not rant, this is a waffle, isn't it? This waffling. And then I thought about it and I thought, you know what? No, because really, no one's going to want to talk about what I talk about here anyway. And I think it's better with just me talking and just talking about whatever I feel like talking about, because then there's some sort of continuity. That's the, Jesus Christ, continuity. That's the word. And I can just talk about things I spoke about a week ago, and sometimes I talk about things like biscuits and digestives and whatever on here. So I don't think it's worth bringing someone on to talk with me. I think if I did an actual video topic, like a podcast topic, I would probably get someone else on to talk about it with me. But otherwise, I like it like this. Let me know what you guys think anyway in the comments. But I like it like this at the moment. Yeah, I think, what am I going to do this weekend? Oh, I've been trying to lose weight still, and so far in the last like 4 or 5 months, I know I keep updating you guys on it, it's pretty boring to death, but I've lost probably £5, which I know it's not low, it's probably like £1 a month, but my plan is for long term, I haven't got to lose a ton of weight, but I'd like to gradually lose weight so I think I'd like to lose another, really about like £8 probably. So maybe in 8 months time I'll be where I want to be with it, and I can just try and maintain that. I think it's always better, isn't it, to do long term weight loss. I don't think it's good to crash diet or anything. I don't think that's healthy for you. So I've been trying to just consistently exercise and eat better, which seems to be working. One of you actually left a really funny comment and it made me laugh. It was something to do with them being at the doctor's, and they asked the doctor whether their weight gain was due to their midnight snacking. And that's when they realised it was obvious. But that comment did make me laugh. I think sometimes it takes you to just like say something out loud. You think, oh yeah. Sorry if there is a lot of background noise. There's normally birds that keep chirping this time of morning. They normally wake me up. It's so frustrating. And I haven't got a problem. I haven't got beef with with birds, but I sometimes they wake me up before my alarm, and like they're really the birds near. I don't know what it is with them. They're near me in this big bush, and they are so noisy. Honestly, there must be this one who's like the leader, and they do not shut up in the morning. They make this constant intermittent noise for like, I don't know how long. They must do it for an hour every single morning. I don't know what they're doing. If any of you know what birds are actually doing when they make these noises, are they calling other birds? Are they? I don't know what they're doing. I don't know why they make that noise. Do you think it's to do with food or their babies? I don't know. I haven't got a clue. I'm sorry. I've finished my tea now. That was a good tea. That was. Sometimes I make a tea, right? I don't know if any of you that have like hot drinks and stuff, like hot chocolate, whatever. I find that how the tea or hot chocolate, whatever, comes out depends on the mug that I'm using. I know it sounds like a conspiracy theory, but I think that you make a better tea with a certain mug, and that's the hill I'm gonna die on, because I know for a fact if you gave me a rounded mug, it would taste horrible. It wouldn't taste nice at all. But just a normal like rounded one, like medium-sized mug, I can make a banging tea in that. But give me anything like, if you're from England, you'll know about the Sports Direct mugs. They were huge, but you couldn't make a good drink in it. You could not make a good tea in that, just because you can't get the proportions of it right. you're putting in too much milk. You don't have much sugar to put in. It's like, and if you haven't seen these mugs, maybe you just look up on Google Sports Direct mug. It's enormous, and you can't make a good tea in it. So that's my theory about that. But yeah. Sorry, I had to cough, and I didn't want to start like coughing in your ears and down the microphone, so I thought I'd best turn it off for a minute. But I'm back. It's I've noticed as well. It started getting dark earlier on again. I hate it when it's dark at like 3 or 4 p.m. It's horrible. I used to work somewhere, and I used to go in at I used to start at 8, so it was dark when I woke up in the winter and went in, and I'd be inside this building that had no windows. It's like I was inside a building but inside a separate part of the building, and it just had no windows anyway because it was right in the middle. And I'd come home and it'd be dark again, so I always made sure I got an hour lunch on that job, and I always made sure, even no matter how cold it would be snowing outside, I'd always go outside and go for a walk and just get out for it, because I think it's good to actually have fresh air and actually sort of, I don't know, to have sunlight, because I don't think it's good when you work somewhere, because I've worked in a couple of jobs now where there's no windows at all, and then everyone in these departments, I don't know what it is, they're like nocturnal animals. They sort of just live inside. It's like they live underground, because they're like, oh no, we're just eating lunch in here. I'm like, you literally won't have seen daylight for about a month if you keep doing that. Like, the weekend's the only time they probably see daylight. I just couldn't do it. I really enjoy a window. I think you really can. I know what was the worst as well. They had a painted on window. That made it worse, because it's like mocking us that we can't even have a window. Sorry everyone, my microphone cut off then. But I was talking about windows, wasn't I? I just think windows are such an underappreciated thing. Like, I think for me windows are so important, especially if I work somewhere, just to be able to look outside and just have some daylight coming in. I've got quite an interesting fact, and it's to do with windows. So it's from when King William III was ruling England, and that was around the late 1600s, I believe. And essentially there was a tax based on how many windows a house had, so people would board up their windows, and that's where the phrase daylight robbery comes from. So I just thought that was a really interesting fact. I don't know, I love things like that. I love phrases and idioms and figures of speech, so if you actually know any really good ones that are a bit uncommon, put it in the comments, because I love them, because like, it's sort of one of those things where they don't really make sense but they have a meaning. I don't know, I just think I think analogies get across what you want to say so much better than sometimes being literal does. I don't know, I just really enjoy the use of language sometimes and how it can be used. And this probably sounds really boring, but I just do. Do you know what? It is so cold at the moment. I don't know why. It shouldn't be cold. Maybe it's that wind. Hopefully the mic's not picking it up too badly, but yeah, it is pretty windy here at the moment. Anyway, if you guys have anything that you think I'd be interested in looking up, so it could be like a creepy topic or a horror story or something, and let me know, because I'd like to research new things and talk about them. So if you do, then let me know. I personally I enjoy making these videos, but my favourite part is, as I always say, just this bit and just talking to you and having interaction. To be honest, sometimes I wish I could just have this. Like, I really enjoy this sort of just waffling on and chat. As much as I do enjoy the stories, and I do enjoy narrating them, and I do get some sort of like pleasure from doing that. But to be honest, I just enjoy having a conversation about random things. Do you know what I think looks really scary as well? I saw it the other day. I was just looking at a plane, But Joe, they're like little gliders that people have. They look terrifying. It's like little pods, and people glide them around. And I've seen some videos where it looks like they're about to crash or they're in danger of crashing. It looks terrifying. I don't know if any of you have done that before. Let me know, because I would not like that at all. It's like you're going around like a little just like a little bubble pod. It doesn't look very safe. I feel like even if you have a hard landing, you're going to break something in one of those things. Like it doesn't look very safe. But they must be somewhat. I mean, they must be safe, but I don't know. I feel like if it catches a strong breeze, you're going to capsize and fly upside down one of those things. I don't know. I just couldn't do it. What is you guys' biggest fear then? I don't particularly like flying. It's not my biggest fear, but I don't like it, and I don't really like. Well, I don't really like. I despise spiders. I hate spiders with an absolute passion. Oh, they're awful, awful creatures. It's the way they move, the way they've got 8 eyes. They've got these big, long, horrible legs. Some of them are hairy, got fat bellies and stuff. I hate them. I hate them. Something about. I think it's the way they move. I don't know. But anyway, what about you guys? What do you hate? A lot of people say snakes. I don't hate snakes. I'm not fond of them. I'm not really fond of bugs though, really, in general. Like I saw a cricket the other day. Actually, when I was driving, like 3 or 4 years ago, there was a cricket on my steering wheel when I was on the motorway, and I thought, oh no. Like if that jumps at me, I'm going to be terrified. I can't really move. It'd just be like sitting on my head, my forehead. But luckily it jumped, and I don't know where it went, and I never saw it again. So whether it got out or not, I don't know. Hopefully it probably went out when I opened the door or something, but I don't know. I really didn't. I just don't like bugs. They creep me out. There's something about bugs that I find creepy, like moths. Moths are just a bit creepy, aren't they? But yeah. Anyway, let me know what you guys think, and I probably rambled for way too long now, so I'm gonna go. But yeah, let me know what charity you'd like me to support next month, and what one you would also like to support with me. So yeah, any suggestions for charity of the month, or any causes I should look up, and anyone we can help in any way, let me know. Thanks a lot. Bye.